Nice slice of bacon and a cracker. Oh yeah, I'm good on that. Jalapeno.
Sounds
Jalapeno.
pretty good.
Yeah, it does sound pretty good, doesn't
Well,
it?
anyway, enough about Jordan Love's dumb joke. I think the actual truth of the story is that it's just like he said he a Bears fan paid him to say it or something like that, and he just did it 'cause he was being nice. The whole thing just sounds so stupid. Like, why would you do that for your rival team and then just be like, "Oh, I was being nice"?
I mean,
I just made
maybe they paid him a lot of money, and he knows he's not going to make much money after this mini
Well, it's
extension.
just funny. It's just funny because Joe's like, yeah, he's trying to be Aaron Rodgers, and really, he's just like a dweeb. Like, oh yeah, I'll do it for you. So stupid.
You feeling confident
What
going
else
into
do we
week
got?
one, or do we feel confident playing him? Okay.
I told you,
NFL
week one they have to
season.
win, or there's an issue.
Week one is what day? What's the date? September 7? September 7 is that Thursday. September 10. So how many days away? Days till September 10. 82 days until we're playing the Packers, men. Yeah, Lucas Berry says we have to win, and I absolutely agree with you. Yes, we have to win. Anytime you're playing, you're in yellow. Jordan Love, throws this week one matchup right back into our face on Sunday due to Father's Day. Chris Krogman, 82 days away with no edge help yet on this Bears roster. We're gonna get after Jordan Love and kind of make him eat his words or prove him correct that we are his daddy.
I think come July 31st or whatever, we'll see Yannick Ngakwe in a Bears uniform.
I feel pretty confident about that, and I don't really know why. Maybe it's just because I want it to happen so much, but I feel strangely calmly confident about that, Chris. Do you echo those feelings, or are you kind of nervous, or are you just hopeful? My feeling is kind of just like it's going to happen. I'm pretty confident in it.
At this point, I don't think there's a. I don't think there he doesn't swing the needle so far either direction that I have that much invested in it. It feels very Riley Reefish last year, where everybody was kind of melting down for an edge rusher all off season, and then we added Reef. Or sorry, everybody was melting down for an offensive lineman. Then we added Reef, and then this season, off season, it's the same thing with defensive end, and maybe they add Ngakwe, maybe they don't. I mean, they still signed Walker. They signed Lewis. So those two guys might compete. Walker might slide inside to 3 tech and compete inside as well. So hopefully big steps from Travis Gibson and Dominique Robinson. And then you got Walker and potentially Lewis. And if they sign Ngakwe, then the depth isn't awful, and we'll see how it goes.
Dude, I totally missed. When did we sign Terrell Lewis?
Like mid free agency.
Yeah, I totally missed that. Roll Tide. I had no idea. That's number 2 on the squad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's going to be down the depth chart, and I don't expect a whole lot out of him. But I just kind of just have this.
I thought we
sneaky-
talked about this,
No,
Joe, because I thought we talked about his pass rushing ability.
I totally missed that.
Okay.
100%.
Well, now that we have you live on Believe in Monsters podcast, the biggest Roll Tide fan there is, tell us about Terrell Lewis, Joe Gaither 6. Is he a pass rusher extraordinaire? Can he get 6 sacks this year?
When the fuck did he sign? Chicago Bears signed?
I think it was last year.
No, because he was with the
end of
Rams.
last year. It was the end of last year he signed. Pretty sure, or he was on the roster. I don't know if he ever dressed or started, but
On January 6th. Unbelievable.
yeah, that's still last season, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I had no idea he was gone from the Rams. Well, I mean, great. Awesome. What does he bring to the Bears? He brings the Bears a player who all his life has had all the physical tools, but has had a mixture of bad luck and honestly a poor motor. So I don't really expect a ton out of him. I see him listed on ourlads.com as the third or fourth defensive end here. So like, I think that's about right. Is he going to give you, some edge pressure here and there? Yeah, maybe, but not. It's never going to be consistent, and it's never going to be.
Do you think he'll be the the training camp darling this year? Can a defensive end be a training camp darling, or is that only skill positions?
Can a defensive end who's been in the league since 2020 and been kind of a fringe player, not done much with the Rams? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to caution Bears fans to fall in love with him. He looks like an Adonis. Like he's got a great wingspan. He's got he's really lean. He's got good bend in his game. But I think that I think his athleticism is nice. But I think he's a bit on the soft side and a bit on the inconsistent side. He's been hurt. He's been hurt a lot before. He was hurt at Alabama a lot. I would like him to turn out to be something great, but if he gives you more than 3 sacks, then if he makes the roster, and gives you more than 3 sacks, then you've won with what you've got out of him.
You know what? They just brought him in for that Super Bowl experience. They want to have winners on this team. And he wears 52, so we missed 52 here in Chicago.
What was he, like a third-round pick or something like that?
Yep, 84th overall.
Yeah, so a day 2 pick 2 years ago, right?
3.
I could see why it's intriguing.
Well, everybody's favorite bald-headed clickbait bitch fucking posted like an article about the secret weapon the Bears are trying to hide.
Paul Feinbaum?
Yeah, Paul.
Chris
Feinbaum.
Krogman?
Yep, that's me. I write stories.
Could have been me or you, Chris.
Yeah. Well, we don't write clickbait. We're not bitches.
Is that what it says? He's the secret weapon?
It says no. It says one new arrival the Chicago Bears might be trying to keep secret. Like,
that's Badgett. The new quarterback. Yeah, I like Badgett.
Name the writer like a man. If we're gonna call him a pussy and a bitch, and then who is this secret weapon that we're trying to hide?
It's Lambert wrote it, and it's Terrell.
Oh, Eric Lambert. Oh, I was like trying to think like who the heck?
Joe, let me ask you this: could he possibly have been playing out of position in Los Angeles? Is he more of a 3-4 linebacker or a 4-3 D end?
3-4 linebacker. He's an outside linebacker in my opinion.
So then why is he here?
Because he's 6'5".
I mean, yeah, he's really long. He is really long. But
they like him long and strong up there in Chicago in the Eberflus.
Yeah. And goodness gracious, if you like, when I was out there, I went to a practice one time when he was just a freshman, and just standing up next to him, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy should be like an NFL Hall of Famer. I don't know if it's a lack of a motor exactly at a tip top level, or if it's just he's been unlucky with injury throughout his time. I think it's probably a mixture of both.
He's got like an 86 speed in Madden, so he's really fast.
Can I ask, how do we start talking about this? My Wi-Fi connection cut out, and then I come back to us talking about Ray Lewis over here.
So
I totally missed Terrell Lewis being added to the roster.
We were talking about Bears possibly adding Ngakoue, and then I said if they didn't, they still had Robinson and Gibson, and they signed Walker and Lewis. And then Joe went on his typing rant and found that we signed Terrell Lewis. I was like, when the fuck did this happen?
Joe, your next order of business is to find us how many days until training camp for the Bears. I think they have maybe 30 days or something off, so like a month.
Gotta be like late July. It's late July usually.
So while Joe's looking this up, Chris, I think we can discuss one of the points you brought up of Bears fans attacking one of our favorite beat guys over some what they deemed negative reporting on Fields. What do you think about that, Chris?
So just to recap real quick, Adam
Is it our
Hogue,
boy Hogue? All
yeah,
right.
Adam Hogue said that Justin Fields didn't look as good as he has on one day of camp. I think it was a Friday. He said that the connection between Fields and Moore still looked really good. Also mentioned he doesn't have anybody else out there that he's throwing to. There was a weird connection with Dante Pettis, but that Fields just didn't look so good. He's also said within the same week that he thought Fields would be a Pro Bowl quarterback and have a great year. So people only focus on the negative shit that comes out of people's like. I read through some of these Twitter comments saying that Adam Hogue is only negative. Like him and Johns are probably two of the most level-headed, shoot you straight down the middle type of Bears guys, if not more on the positive side than pretty much everybody on Twitter. Like
and Hogue more than Johns. Johns gets a little more negative than Hogue on their show, which is fine. But I agree. Continue.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, Hogue wants to understand football. He covers a lot of football. He does a lot of his own draft prep work. He talks to people in the league. It's not like he's just some media dude shooting from his hip and just throwing out bullshit to see what sticks. I can't believe Bears Twitter ran him over that day, like full steam.
I think the other thing that added to it, which doesn't really add context, but apparently Jeff Joniak said Fields went 15 of 18 that day in practice. But I guess what people aren't really realizing is like 7-on-7 reps, you're supposed to complete every pass, basically. It's like it's not a completion percentage game when you're playing with no pass rush and,
Yeah, I think it was
just ridiculous, man.
Some former Bears coach that said the ball should never hit the ground in 7-on-7. And if you're bringing up completion percentage
in a practice
June in 7-on-7, you're no better than Packers fans talking about Jordan Love doing the same shit. Like, stop it. Just stop it.
Well, it's okay to have a bad practice. And it's okay to be honest about a bad practice or practice that's not up to stuff. Let's say he was 15 of 18. The ball hits the ground 3 times. There's also a good 15 completions and really, I can check it down to Khalil Herbert 12 times and then squeeze 3 balls in there if I really wanted to into double coverage. And there's my 15 passes. And did that look great or not? Look, trust the guys who are out there. Yes, there are some who are just trying to give you the BS, but I think when you take the group as a whole, the beat writers group as a whole, the staff as a whole, you're able to pick through. Okay, you're able to take a whole message of what's good and what's bad, and how. Like he wasn't overboard. He wasn't overboard, and he wasn't just picking on Fields. I think it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous and a non-issue at best, in my opinion.
Yeah, no way.
I think the overall report was that, there were some really good days and some really bad days. And overall it was, kind of up and down. But I would say from what we've heard in previous year where the offense has always been consistently bad, I would say the general kind of feeling or, thought behind the offense, I would say is generally pretty positive from what we're used to as Bears fans.
Well, yeah. And when Mitch Trubisky used to have these days, sorry, Joe, fandom would just be like, oh, he's learning, he's growing. This is when you want to have your bad days. Fields can't have one bad day without, his super suckers coming to his rescue to, defend him. Like, come on, dude. Justin does not need you to defend him. It's ridiculous.
Let me ask you guys this. When was the last time at this point in June did we have this much buzz around a Bears wide receiver as much as what we've got going on with DJ Moore of just like the excitement level and kind of the energy and how the connection is? Like, when's the last time?
It has to be Marshall, dude.
Brandon Marshall.
Marshall.
Easy answer. Yeah. And it was like, it was set up like that was set up Like, there's only a couple times in Bears offseason where you could almost put like the money in the bank that Brandon Marshall was coming, and then the second one was when Danny Trevathan followed John Fox to Chicago. Like, those two things were almost guaranteed from the end of the previous season. But yeah, excited about DJ Moore for sure.
So that was 2014, Brandon Marshall's last year. Almost 10 years ago. Which is wild to think about. It feels like it was just like yesterday, he and Alshon Jeffries. Oh, gosh.
And Martellus Bennett, man. I love that wide receiver core. They were huge.
I mean, I think a lot of Bears fans were excited for Anthony Miller. It didn't pan out, but that was probably the best, like, most draft excitement.
I was,
dude.
I was.
I remember where I was when that happened, and I was freaking stoked. So I freaked my son out, like, screaming. So I thought Anthony Miller was a great draft pick. So I mean, but yeah, this excited. Definitely Brandon Marshall. But kind of going back to the Fields thing and kind of not like making excuses per se, but this is going to be, I mean, it's a big deal. He doesn't have Mooney out there. He doesn't have Claypool out there. Both recovering from different injuries. Like we talked about last time, Mooney has screws in his foot. He broke his ankle. That's going to take a little bit of time to recover. You know, as somebody that used to be in the foot and ankle industry, I hope they didn't have to fuse anything together, like for his parts that have to hinge, because that would suck. If they just have to hinge some bone down to some other bone, that'd be fine. But you don't want to stop those kind of rotating pieces of the ankle because that's really going to limit him. But the other big story over the last week has been Chase Claypool, and I think it's really because it's June. There's nothing else to talk about. Obviously, we want him there, building rapport, timing, all that stuff within the offense with Justin. But people are having a complete another meltdown and revisiting that it was a horrible trade and the Steelers fleeced the Bears and so on and so forth. And you know what? Hindsight's 2020, but we're at where we're at. Where are you guys at with Claypool? And so Tom Waddle had said that he had heard the Bears front office was unhappy with Chase Claypool. I have not heard anything of the sort from anybody else.
Well, Ryan Poles called me and told me that Chase Claypool was a bitch, and he and I agreed. We talked for an hour. He talked about how it might have been a mistake to get him into Chicago, and I said, you know, I know you tried to do your best, but you went after a wide receiver who's a little pussy ass bitch and has all kinds of, you know, soft tissue injuries, and he's never going to be that guy. So we need to go ahead and cut bait now. He disagreed. He said he wants to give him the whole year, but I asked him. I said, look at his years. You think you're going to get 873 yards like he got in his rookie year out of him? And Ryan Poles looked at the floor. I said, "You think you're gonna get 860 yards like he got out of Pittsburgh, got out of his second year?" And Ryan Poles, he wouldn't even look me in the eye. And I said, "Do you think he's probably going to be closer to the 450 yards that he accumulated between the two teams of Chicago and Pittsburgh last year?" And Ryan Poles said, "That's going to be about right." And I said, "Well, you fucked up if that's going to be the case. 450 yards out of Chase Claypool with a touchdown." That ain't gonna cut it for next year.
So this was a Zoom call?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you said he wouldn't look you in the eye, so I just wanted to. And it was an hour long you spent on Chase Claypool.
Pretty much.
Our GM is spending an hour talking to a podcast host in the offseason.
Well, you know, he's trying to gain different perspectives and figure out the error of his ways. And I just told him, like, you know, you fucked up. It's unbelievable. Now, you did a good job bringing in DJ Moore, and DJ Moore's going to erase your fuck up, having to go back into the well and trade for a second wide receiver within the span of 3 months. DJ Moore is going to make your fuck up not as bad because it's going to be DJ Moore, wide receiver 1. It's going to be, Mooney gets his catches. Of course, our man Cole Kmet's going over 1,000 yards this year. Cole Kmet's going to be the second leading receiver by yards this year. So DJ Moore and Cole Kmet are going to basically make that trade look like not as bad. But in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be a shitty trade. Darnell Mooney's going to chip in as that third option wide receiver 2. Valus Jones is going to pop. And you guys know I love my boy Dante Pettis. He's like always reliable. And Tyler Scott, like all this is going to like work out to where it's not going to be that bad. But it was a fuck up of a trade.
I still think you got to try it when the situation occurred, and I think you did too. I think most Bears fans thought we needed to try it.
Exactly, because Bears fans can only think about all the shitty things and can't remember how desperate they were for a wide receiver, how much they bitched and moaned.
Anyone, doesn't matter if you overpay.
August, yeah. Give me the dude that signed with Jacksonville for $100 million. We'll take him. And yeah, he had a good season, but nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw a good year coming out of, I can't even remember his name. Anyway,
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, thank you, Captain Kirk.
Look.
And now people are pissed because it was the 32nd overall pick, but nobody knew it was going to be that. At the time, it was probably like late 40s. So chill the fuck out.
And even if that report is true, I mean, Joe, what you said, what we did say is true. The Bears are probably upset that the damn guy's not on the field and he can't get on the field right now. I mean, yeah, I'd be pissed too if I made that investment and that was happening. But I'm sticking this out through the end. I've said that I've applauded the trade from the start, and like I said, even if it sucks, I'm still okay with the move because in the moment it made too much sense, and it still makes sense. You can never have too many weapons.
So the other team involved last year was the Packers, right? Can you imagine Bears Twitter if they'd have passed and let the Packers get him, regardless of the outcome? Oh, Chase Claypool would have been so good here. Oh, my God. He's so good. He would have been had those 850 yards and 8 touchdowns his rookie season. Oh, man, he's got so much upside. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Can't even I'm done. He will be fine. Eberflus did say that he was upset that he wasn't getting reps. So
this is also why we can't have nice things. We also bitch about the depth and whatever of our receiving core. Now we finally have a receiving core, and people are mad that our number 3 receiver at this point isn't on the field or hasn't lived up to his expectation. Like, who cares? You finally have offense. People have been complaining to overpay for offense for years.
I saw somebody tweet out that, if he'd have taken George Pickens last year, this wouldn't have happened. Then he could have had Joey Porter Jr. this year too. Like, no. Like, if George Pickens works out the way you think he does, then they probably don't have the 32nd overall pick. Like, you can't just go back and pick and choose and then make up your own new fucking timeline. This is not Back to the Future where you get to change one event and changes everything in your favor. Like, go watch The Butterfly Effect and come back to me. And if you haven't watched that movie for real, you should go see it.
It'll freak you out a little bit.
Actually, while we're talking about this is something I thought about today, though. Joe, we said training camp is 36 days away, so the Bears have about a month off.
July 26th is the opening day.
I don't think it's too early to start kind of thinking about the different camp battles. And one I was thinking about is who makes it from the wide receiver room, like how many players and who gets cut. And I'll tell you, when I've went through this multiple times in my head, the guy who gets cut every time in my head is Equanimeous. And I know the Bears love him, but I think he might be the odd man out.
Well, you talk about depth, and you do really have it, and that's why, like, okay, if Claypool doesn't turn out, it's not going to hurt you this bad. Look at your if everybody's healthy, you're looking at DJ Moore 1, Darnell Mooney 2, Claypool 3. What do you go after that?
Tyler Scott.
Yeah. Tyler Scott 4, and then you're playing between number 5 with Valus Jones, Dante Pettis, and Equanimeous St. Brown. For 6 and 7 and 8. You're probably
There's no
only
way-
going to
I
carry
don't-
7. You're probably going to carry 6, really.
No, I don't think they'll carry more than 6. I don't. Pettis is my choice to drop or miss.
Well, I think he offers more. Like the only thing people say good about ESB is that he blocks. But I mean, if that's your best quality in a receiver, I'm taking the guy who actually can. I think Dante Pettis has shown and / proved enough that he can make some big plays when he's on the field.
Every time he makes a play, it makes he looks like he's making it by accident.
Yeah, he is kind of like weird looking, but
He's always goofy out on the field, making
plus I
over
think-
the shoulder catches and stuff. But he's always doing it.
ultimately, I was just more thinking that Pettis and Velus Jones offer you more versatility on special teams as well, where ESB is pretty much a blocking only receiver.
Yeah, didn't Pettis return kicks as well as obviously
Pettis
Velus did?
returns kicks and punts, and Velus, if you're keeping him on the roster, his pretty much only purpose is to return kicks. And you're hoping he'll do something on offense. I mean, he could also be a surprise cut. Don't get me wrong. But if I was the Bears, I would be cutting ESB in an instant for his $1 million contract.
Is that all he
Why,
made?
why are we worried about who's making money right now?
I'm just saying that people be like, we signed him. Yeah, for $1 million.
Right, exactly. And especially, aren't we still in the green? We're still in the black on the
Yeah,
salary cap
the
by a
Bears
lot.
have plenty of money.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, what'll probably really happen is they might have to carry 7, depending if Mooney and Deadpool, if one of the other odds are one of those guys will be hurt week 1. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Honestly, I sure hope not, but I feel like one of those guys might start on PUP or something we don't want to see.
That's my only real concern with Claypool, really, is being consistently on the field. Soft tissue injuries are a thing with him, and so that's if he's on the field, great. I think that he can be out there and be productive. I just worry about his consistency, and you all know the phrase: the best ability is availability.
What do you think, Chris?
I want to ask you guys a question.
Please.
So Dante Pettis and ESB have a similar contract. Who do you think makes more money?
Ooh. ESB is something weird, like 1.06 million. I feel like I have no clue what Pettis makes. I want to say ESB makes more money. I feel like Pettis is making like hundreds of thousands of dollars or something.
I'll vote for ESB as well.
So it's let me double check that. Yeah, see, so it's weird. Because there's cash details too. So I guess maybe ESB probably got a bonus, but for
does Pettis have more incentives or something?
Pettis has a higher yearly cash, but the overall value is higher for ESB. So it's 1.2325 for Pettis and 1.165 for ESB, but then in parentheses it has 2.130. So I don't know what the fuck that parentheses means, but
that's the cut number if you cut him.
How the fuck could he have a cut number higher than his salary? Oh no, his dead cap is 85. So that's what it is.
Normally,
so his cap hit is 1.165 and his dead cap is 85, which I don't fucking get, but whatever. Yeah, so he does make more than Pettis, but it's close. It is really close. I was thinking I thought ESB had signed a 2-year deal with us, but I
thought he did too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That parenthesis might be the total dead money on the contract.
Maybe it was a 2-year deal last year, but it says he signed a 1-year deal. Whatever. Anyway,
extension. I don't know.
I'm with Chris though. Even though Pettis has kind of been a little bit of like a pet for me on this show, I think if you're cutting between Pettis or an ESB, you're taking ESB.
You keep ESB on your team?
Yeah, I would.
What are you going to do? Take DJ Moore off the field so he can come in and block on running plays?
No,
and then reinsert DJ Moore on passing downs?
No,
But you're not putting Pettis in there to run block. You're not putting we're talking about the 5th and 6th receivers. None of these guys are.
Yeah,
see the
and you gotta think about the receiver that he always last year Eberflus, not Eberflus, but the offensive coordinator. Come on, Getzy, thank you. Would always put a wide receiver like a big tight end, as a big tight end, like on the in the line of scrimmage with that real tight split. That was N'Keal Harry a bit good.
Well, that's
bit.
supposed
It
to
was
be.
ESB.
That's Claypool's role, though. Really, that's what Claypool's role is going to be in this offense, is the big body blocker. I'm telling you what it is.
That'll last about 2 games.
You're telling us what you would do. I think the Getzy connection with ESB also gives him the leg up too.
Yeah.
But do you not think that Pettis and Fields have a bigger connection than?
Why? Because everybody and their mom's hurt, and he's the only one to throw to.
Threw to him in Washington last year too. I don't know. Pettis is old. I feel like he showed up random times last year, made some really big catches.
He always shows up
last year too.
He shows up because and they're covering everybody else, and they're
exactly.
He's like,
that's
sweet.
ESB was their number one last year. ESB never made him. I can't remember one catch ESB made last year. Like one big play.
Touchdown against San Francisco, week number 1.
Oh yeah, was that throwback play or whatever?
I think it was a flag. I think it was a flag route.
Yeah, it was the one in the end zone. Yeah, I remember that. I'm just saying, I don't know. ESB just give me the guy. He'll make a few big plays.
He will, but he makes them because they're leave him alone.
This argument. This is a last year argument, and we're on to DJ Moore and Chase Claypool. I mean,
yeah, but that's how crazy this is. It turned over the wide receiver room that strongly that last year your 1s and 2s were ESB and Dante Pettis, and who the fuck was the guy who got arrested for spin and drive and Brian Pringle, goodness gracious. Get out of town. And so this year, you're going into the year with what looks like an actual wide receiver core.
Well, June 20th, we can come back to this after camp when ESB is cut. I'll be dancing on his grave.
No!
I'm praying on his downfall. I hate that guy.
What's your fucking problem there? Yeah. What a weirdo. That is the weirdest fucking hate. He had one drop last year.
The only Bears I really hate ever are the ones who have epically burned us throughout time. You can't. ESB hasn't done anything to get
that
He's
amount
a
of
saboteur.
What?
Came here from Green Bay as a saboteur.
Oh, well, he helped us get the number 1 overall pick last year. Thank you, ESB. Plan worked successfully.
Saboteur.
This is the dumbest conversation. N'Keal Harry should beat him out. Should beat both of them out.
Did we ever find out if he's actually on the roster?
He's not on our lads anymore, so he's not on the roster.
Oh,
sad,
man.
Sad.
He
made plays.
Our lads has the rest of the wide receivers as Darius Fountain, Nasimba Webster, has Joe Reed, Tyreek Pitts, Aaron Cruikshank, and Roy. I'm not trying that one.
Roy Williams is back.
Roy Mbaet.
Mbate.
Mbaeteka.
Oh, well, yeah, you lost me.
Mbatica. They're all getting cut. Doesn't matter. Bye
bye. Simba Webster will make the practice squad.
Sure.
Simba.
You gotta have a punt returner in there somewhere that is way, way, way down on the depth chart.
And Travis Homer can do that too. Travis Homer can play that role.
That's another guy. I actually did hear that he was fumbling balls around a lot and
that's because he sucks.
Mini camp, and it's another guy that could No, we hope they keep him and cut Ebner. Actually, I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter which one of those makes it, but one of those guys will probably be cut, right?
What's the vet minimum? Because I just don't like signing guys and then immediately cutting them. I think that's what was the point? You know, like you might as well have just given another undrafted free agent that job.
Well, they also probably didn't think they would get Roshan Johnson in the draft, so they got a pass blocker. I don't know, but yeah, you're right. I think Homer's making like $2 million or something.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
But that was an actual report. I heard that he was not looking great in minicamp. What else do we have to talk about? I feel like I'm missing something. It's on the tip of my tongue.
I got nothing else.
Hold on 1 second. Let's just make sure there's nothing stupid we didn't miss. 5 hours ago, Bears reportedly pass on opportunity for Hard Knocks. Good.
No, not good, man.
I don't want to be on Hard Knocks. Fuck
I
that.
do. I want to see
Why?
ESB getting screamed at on TV.
Yeah, I don't see Homie as a screamer.
Apparently, they're having trouble finding a team because none of the 4 teams that have that are like eligible for the show, all of them are saying no.
They're
Oh,
gonna
really?
make-
The Jets said no?
I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. That all they're like looking outside of like the eligible teams now because no team wants to do it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they all said no. I thought Detroit might go back on. I think they
can,
reached
right?
out. They reached out to Detroit. I think was like their first call about teams not eligible that they are asking to have back on. So they're trying to break their own rules.
I thought they
Basically,
would. Oh, I was gonna say I thought they forced it on people if
Yeah, I
they
did
said
too.
no.
maybe that's just an empty threat. I don't know.
Who are the other 2 eligible teams?
If you get chosen for Hard Knocks and you say no, they shove you in a submarine and send you down to the Titanic and close the door.
If you say no, they write you on the bad side of the script. They
That's
they write you to an 8-8 script. Jets, Bears, Saints, and Commanders are the eligible teams.
How crazy is that submarine story, though? That is
Dude, what are you
insane.
doing? What
That
are
is
you,
absolute insanity.
I have
Yeah.
no idea what you're talking about.
you paid
All right, Chris.
$200,000 to die.
On Sunday, so there's this, long story short, this guy made a company that does like ocean explorations.
Okay.
It's just like a rich guy. He's like an engineer. So he's kind of like Elon Musk. Think about that.
Okay.
And he makes
Yep.
like submarines. He takes people down to see the Titanic wreckage, which is like 13,000 feet in the Atlantic Ocean, like off
Yep.
near Newfoundland.
Yep.
So on Sunday, 5 really rich people, like they're just like explorers in random walks of life, cost a quarter of a billion to ride,
$250K.
$250,000 to go down and see the Titanic wreckage. The submarine only fits 5 people. It's not a submarine. It's called something else. It's like a pod they launch into the ocean. It fits 5 people, and the guy, I guess this is common in like subs, but the like remote that steers the vessel was like just like a Game Boy controller. It looked like
Oh,
literally-
yeah.
yeah. So they launched on Sunday. An hour and a half into their mission, they lost connection with the satellite, and that's it. They can't find them. They're just in the ocean somewhere, and they have supposedly 40 hours from today before they'll run out of oxygen.
But
So just because you
no,
can't,
no, it's not even that because all right, you can't.
open it.
The sub's not accessible from the inside.
Yeah.
So you have to somebody has to come to the outside to open it because they bolted it shut because the pressure down that deep in the ocean is so
Yeah.
crazy. And,
Yeah.
but like if you see the pictures of the thing, it looks just like a dadgum minivan that he
Yeah.
welded together. He just welded these pieces together.
It's
And
apparent.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently 2 years ago too, like a group of scientists told this guy, like marine people, they were like, this thing's not safe to use on a voyage, like don't do it. Like multiple people told him that, and then the other day he just took 5 people down there, and now they're in there fucking suffocating.
Is he in there?
They're
with
not
him?
even suffocating.
Yeah, he's in there.
Okay. Well, at least he's going down with his own ship.
What's likely happening, Luke, is they're not even suffocating. What probably happened is they had a breach.
They'll just run out.
they probably had a breach, and so what happens is at that low, at that bottom pressure, or that high of pressure, that depth, when you have a breach, they'll just fucking implode, dude. They will implode with the pressure of the ocean. And so they're going to explode from the inside out as the vessel is being imploded from the pressure is just going to take over and kill you.
So, like, my only challenge there is, like, James Cameron got that pod down there, like, when they were making Titanic or shortly after, and we're a long ways after Titanic. We haven't built anything that could withstand that pressure yet.
I'm sure you have, but it was just like you or me, just like scrapping together materials.
It doesn't sound like it was just you or me.
Well,
Lucas said he was an engineer.
Oh yeah,
He
you or
was.
me with like good, with some money and a better education. It wasn't professionally done.
What's a professional?
It would be like Elon Musk, like, building a Tesla, like, on his own and then, like, sending people on it, like sending it to space or something
You
crazy.
mean like SpaceX?
Yeah.
It'd
Yeah,
be like
that actually has done that already.
it'd be like Elon Musk building a Tesla in his driveway in 1995, and to test it, he sits in the passenger seat with 4 people in the back seat, and they're just sitting there like, "All right, guys, let's see where we go." And the Tesla drives right off the road.
Yeah, the story is not. It is sad. The one dude brought his the one billionaire brought his 19-year-old son on there, so
Terrible.
that's horrible.
But why? Why, when you see the vessel, you're like, "I'm not going in there."
Yeah, they have to sit on the floor too.
It's like it's like the inside of a dryer, dude. That's
Yeah.
what it looks like.
And you take off your shoes to get in. It's very weird, Chris. It's like, but now everyone's like glued on this story.
And you could, I'm sure, like the vessel to
It's
see
called-
out.
It's called Titan. The vessel is called Titan, and they're on a voyage to see the Titanic. If you just type in Titanic and Titan,
I got
you'll
it.
find it.
I found
The
it.
glass, like they've got like a glass portal to like look out, but I'm sure the glass is so thick you can't even see out.
Dude, the hole was tiny. The hole was like this big to see the wreckage.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
What a crazy story.
I bet you I can Google Titanic wreckage and watch a cool video of it, and just be set.
What I saw, what I read that really put it in perspective was like the deepest sub rescue was like 1,000 feet or something like this, and these guys could be over 13,000 feet. There's a theory that the pod got stuck in the Titanic wreckage, and they're trapped in there.
They probably are.
They said there's a lot of whole, like I'm like looking through the different stories. They said there's a lot of holes in the whole thing.
You think they're staging their own death so they can show up at their own funeral?
Or so that they can just be rich and not get bothered with taxes and all that shit.
They can all collect the life insurance.
They're just gonna go build a private island.
Dude, the guy's actually just shuttling people to like this Atlantis utopia for billionaires, 5 at a time.
It's Jeffrey
Oh my God.
Epstein's other island.
Oh my god!
Would
That
you-
would, if you were like really rich and like you said, Chris, you wanted to like avoid taxes and stuff, that would probably be a pretty good getaway. Like pay a guy in a sub to take you to like this crazy remote place.
City of Atlantis. That would be funny. That's crazy. What a story.
Well,
Terrible.
we'll be keeping up with the coverage. For the
What,
next
what are we gonna
2
do for the
days.
next 5 weeks? We got 5 shows. Let's kind of hash this out real quick. We have 5 shows until camp. Obviously, show number 5 is like pre-camp because it's like Tuesday before camp opens. So we got 4 shows. We got a month worth of shows. What do we want to do, guys? For just let's get creative. Do we want to profile a player or a position group, or go 4 weeks, 4 weeks to a division by each week 2 divisions or some shit like that, or do you want to go 4 weeks? You want to go 2 offensive and 2 defensive position groups per week or something like that, or I don't know.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like
Split
that
up
one.
split up the position groups over the next month, kind of like we did today with the wide receivers.
That sounds great. We'll scratch out wide receivers off our list because Dante Pettis is getting cut, and we'll see everybody on next Tuesday, right? Any other conflicts or topics you want to talk about? Anybody want to fight over anything?
Happy Father's Day to all the Bears fans out there. Go Pack.
It's a good time to be a Bears fan. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. Make every play clear the way to victory. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Put up a fight with the might so fearlessly. You will never forget the way you throw the nation with your T formation. Bear down, Chicago Bears. And let them know why you're wearing the crown. You're the pride and joy of Illinois, Chicago Bears. Bear down.